Right now, something could be living inside a human body for years, quietly, eating what he eats, growing while he sleeps, and he would never feel a thing. It can grow over 20 feet long, 7 full meters. It has no mouth, no stomach. It doesn't need them. Your body should fight it. It convinces your body not to. And the worm in the gut, that's the harmless part. Because the worst thing it does, you can't see. And it isn't what you think. This is the worm that lives inside you. Let's meet it. It starts with lunch. Dave is on vacation, and he is starving. Grilled pork. Looks perfect. Mostly cooked. Mostly. Hidden in that meat are tiny pearls, each one about the size of a pea, filled with cloudy fluid. Inside each pearl, a single white dot, a folded-up head, waiting. One pearl, one worm. Dave chews, Dave swallows. Dave thinks the meal is over. For the pearl, the meal is just beginning. Stomach acid melts the outer shell. Then the host's own bile sends the signal, wake up. The folded head turns itself inside out and unpacks a crown of hooks, 22 to 32 of them, in a double ring, plus 4 muscular suckers. It anchors into the wall of the small intestine. Start to finish, this takes about 10 minutes. 10 minutes for Dave to gain a roommate he didn't invite, and it won't be ready to cause real trouble for weeks. It needs about 2 months to grow up first. Dave isn't unlucky, he's one of millions. This worm is everywhere people and pigs share ground. In some communities, more than 1 in 6 people carry the signs of it. Most never know, because for now, the roommate is being a very polite guest. That changes. Here's the part that should bother you. Your body has an army for exactly this. A foreign body this size should set off every alarm you have. It doesn't. The worm walks in, and the alarms stay quiet. Common sense says the body wins this fight. Common sense loses. Because this worm doesn't hide from your immune system. It talks to it. It releases a chemical that jams your defenses before they even switch on. The first responders never get the call. It coats itself in a protein that grabs your alarm trigger and holds it shut. The signal to attack is physically blocked from firing. When antibodies finally stick to its skin, it just sheds the skin, antibodies and all. And the cells that coordinate the whole defense, it tells them to quietly self-destruct. It doesn't just dodge your immune system, it recruits part of it to protect the invader. There's still the problem of staying put. Your gut is a churning tube trying to flush everything out. So it drives that crown of hooks into the wall and grips with 4 suckers. It does not move. This is why it can stay for a year, sometimes longer. Its cousin in beef can hold on for 25, settled in, undisturbed, and getting hungry. Which raises a question. How does it even eat? Look closely at this worm and something is missing. Look closer. It's still missing. No mouth, no stomach, no gut, no digestive system at all, anywhere. Dave thinks every animal needs a mouth. For 7 meters of worm, Dave is wrong. It doesn't need to eat your food the hard way. It sits in the one place where food is already dissolved. Your small intestine is a river of pre-digested fuel. The worm just lies in that river, and it drinks through its skin. Its entire surface is a living mouth, pulling nutrients straight in. Under a microscope, that skin is carpeted in millions of tiny hair-like hooks that grab and soak up fuel. Your own gut lining uses the same trick to boost its surface 25 times over. The worm beats you. It boosts its surface at least 44 times. It out-absorbs the organ built to absorb. It even sabotages the home team, blocking the enzymes that would digest it while forcing your body to make more sugar for it. Every bite Dave celebrates. The worm quietly skims off the top first. Fed, anchored, and protected, it does the only thing it was built to do. It grows. When people picture a worm, they picture something small. Reset that picture. A full-grown pork tapeworm runs 2 to 7 meters long. 7 meters is over 20 feet. That's longer than Dave is tall, coiled inside a tube the width of a couple of fingers. And it isn't really one animal, it's a chain, up to 1,000 segments linked end to end. Behind the head sits a growth zone. It never stops making new segments. It grows for as long as it lives. On a good run, it can add 5 to 7 centimeters a day, every day. While Dave does nothing, the widest segments reach about 1 centimeter across, roughly a third of the whole channel. The oldest segments are at the very end, farthest from the head. They are the most important ones, because the worm isn't growing to be big. Big is a side effect. It's growing to do one thing, and that one thing is the whole reason it exists. Hold that thought. Here's what should be the strangest part. Through all of this, Dave feels fine. 7 meters of parasite, eating with him every day, and most carriers never feel a thing. That sounds like good news. It's the opposite. Silence is exactly how it stays. It barely irritates the gut wall. No real damage, no big inflammation, nothing for Dave to notice. When there are symptoms, they're forgettable. a little stomach ache, some hunger pangs. Easy to blame on anything. So Dave doesn't go to a doctor. Why would he? Nothing feels wrong. The worm counts on that. Most people only find out by accident. When something turns up that's hard to ignore. Small, flat segments, breaking off in little groups and leaving on their own. That's usually the first hint. For Dave, that's a horror movie moment. For the worm, it's not an accident. It's the plan working. Because while Dave felt perfectly healthy, those segments were doing the one thing the worm grew for. And what they were carrying changes this whole story. Every one of those flat segments leaving Dave is a sealed package, and it's packed full. One segment can hold 40 to 60,000 eggs. One segment. And the worm doesn't need a partner to make them. It builds both halves of the equation itself. Every segment is its own self-contained breeding machine. The worm is a factory thousands of units long. A single quiet carrier sheds 5 or 6 of these packages every single day. That's up to 250,000 eggs leaving one person every day, for as long as the worm lives. And these eggs are built to last. In cool, damp soil, they can stay infectious for up to 8 months. The eggs wait on food, on hands, on anything that didn't get washed. Swallow a cystocurcus in pork, and you get the gutworm, the polite roommate. But swallow an egg, and the rules change completely. Different door in. Completely different outcome. And the worst version doesn't even need pork. Because the carrier sheds eggs on their own hands. One slip of hygiene, and they swallow their own. The host becomes the next victim. And what happens then is a different disease entirely. Everything so far was the worm playing nice. This is what it does when it doesn't. When an egg is swallowed instead of a cyst, it doesn't grow into a worm. It hatches into something that moves. A 6-hooked embryo. In minutes, it drills straight through the wall of the gut. It reaches the bloodstream. Now, it can go anywhere your blood goes. And your blood goes everywhere. It rides the current and settles in the richest tissue it can find. Muscle, the eye, and the brain. There, it curls up into a tiny fluid-filled cyst, and it goes silent. This is the version you can't see. This is what the title meant, not the worm in the gut. This, tucked in the brain, doing nothing at all. Same immune tricks as before. It hides in plain sight and causes no symptoms. For months, for years. A person can carry this in their brain for a decade and feel completely normal. And here's the twist that makes this so cruel. The danger doesn't start when the parasite lives. It starts when it dies. While it's alive, it keeps your defenses switched off around it. When it finally dies, that switch flips back on. Your immune system finally sees the intruder it missed for years and attacks it inside your brain. The swelling around that one dying spot is what triggers the seizures, not the worm, the war over its body. This is neurocystic. In some regions, it's behind about 1/3 of all epilepsy, up to 70% in the worst hit places. Worldwide, millions live with it. It's the leading preventable cause of epilepsy on Earth, and it traces all the way back to one swallowed egg, and a worm Dave never knew he had. So the meter-long monster in the gut, never the real threat. The thing too small to see was, if a worm can hide in a brain for years, what do you think a single-celled thing can do? That's next. Subscribe and find out what else is already inside you.